Judge Bernard Namanya is presiding over the election petition filed by the National Resistance Movement is Faridah Nambi Chigongo, challenging Elias Luyimba as Nalukola's victory as a duly elected member of Parliament for Kawempe North constituency. The first witness on the dock was the petitioner Faridah Nambi Chigongo. During cross-examination by the respondent's legal team, Nambi was asked to tell court how many polling stations were not included in tallying the results from 184 polling stations in Kawempe North constituency.
So what is your complaint here?
My Lord, one of the complaints is that results from 14 polling stations, including mine as a candidate, were not returned on that day.
Yes, but we are asking about the 16640, which you mentioned in your paragraph.
My Lord,
that the total number of registered voters is 16,640.
My Lord, those are the total number of voters that whose results should have been returned by the Electoral Commission on that day.
The results should. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, my Lord.
In other words, they voted on the day of polling.
According to the results tally sheet, those are the total number of voters whose results were not returned, my Lord.
Okay. Let us go back to March. How many voters were in the electoral area? In the 197 polling stations. Total number of voters.
My Lord, the total number of voters are close to 200,000. 190, they're close to 200,000 voters.
No, we want the exact. We are mad. Tell us where you are getting information.
The results tally sheet. The total district number of voters are 199,063. 199,063 total voters.
Total voters. So with the 199,063 voters, did they all vote?
My Lord, I cannot answer that question.
Why? Why?
I, as a candidate of NRM, I went to vote and went back. So I cannot answer. I wasn't in all those places at the same time to ascertain what he's asking.
Oh, you don't want to answer. Yes, sir. Correct? You don't want to give yes evidence. Yes?
No, my Lord. Not in its entirety.
So you want to just give facts, what you saw, what you heard, and probably what you felt. Correct?
Yes, my Lord.
Okay. Have you ever heard of a word called voter turnout? As a politician and an NRM candidate?
Yes, my Lord.
Okay. Did it apply in the Kawempe election? Voter turnout. What is it? Probably what is it?
Voter turnout is the total number of voters that turn out to vote in any given election.
So
My Lord.
what was the voter turnout for this particular election? The voter turnout.
My Lord, still I can't answer that one with certainty.
I've allowed my friend to guide us.
Nambi said among the results that were not tallied were the results from the polling station where she voted from at Imbogo Primary School playground and those from Kazo, Angola.
A to KAK at LC1 office. The total number of voters not returned was 1128. Kazangola, K on the same page, KAL to EZ at LC1 office. The total number of voters was 1149. Kazo Angola on the same page, from L to M at LC1 office. Total number of voters not returned was 1,108. On the same page, Kazangola, N to Naki at Bossas Road. Total number of voters was 1,245. Kazangola, NAKK to Namas at Bossas Road. There was a total number of voters not returned, 713. Kazangola, Namat to NAN at Bossas Road again on the same page. The total number of voters not returned was 872.
Yes.
Kazangola, NAO to SO at LC1 meeting place at page 28 was 851.
Yes.
On the same page 28, Kazangola, SP to Z at LC1 office. The total number of voters was 1,002. When you total, it comes to the 16,640.
How many polling stations?
There are 14 polling stations in total.
Do you have any?
My Lord, my issue is that for the failure for the second respondent to return these results affected the turnout, even if some votes would have come to me or other votes would have come to my other
Very
colleagues.
good. The word is affected. You know that word very well. You know that word? Affected. Adjective.
Yes, my Lord.
How did the 14 polling stations, the results affect the results? That is why we are here.
Correct, my Lord. That's why we are here.
In numbers, the quality will come after. We are not talking about the numbers. Show us the numbers that would overturn. I can follow, I can guide you. One, you can take out that all the 16,640 voters were coming, were going to vote for you, and give us the evidence. Give us the
My
evidence.
Lord, I cannot say what he's saying.
Were they going to vote for you?
My Lord, my issue is for the total number of voters that were different child, and their votes were not tallied on that day.
No, your issue is beyond.
And the difference between me and the first respondent.
What is the difference? The difference between you and Honorable Nambi.
It's 8,300, 350, my Lord. 8,335, my Lord.
So to show that the 14 affected the results, you have to show that out of the 16,640, 8,000 votes were going to be cast in your favor. Can you show that? With a voter turnout of 14.4.
My Lord, I can tell court that the two polling areas, that's Kazangol and Bogo Primary School, is where I voted from and where Councillor Masuti, still from the NRM, voted from. Those were our strong points, my Lord.
Okay.
However, it was hard for Nambi to tell court how the untallied votes from the 14 polling stations affected the results.
Turnout of 14.4%.
Yes, my Lord.
To the number of votes you are complaining about. Are we together?
Yes,
And you get 2,396. Now,
Yes.
even if I don't ask the other question, okay? Even if I don't ask the question, you add that to your number of votes you got. Add that to the number of votes you got, assuming you got all of them. They voted for you. What would you get? Add. You know the number of votes you got?
11,454.
You know the number of votes you got?
9058.
Okay.
My Lord. 9058. Yes, my Lord.
9 what?
9058. Which is on page 30 of
Then
that
you
tally.
You add what? 2396, which is 14.4% voter turnout. What do you get?
11,454, my Lord.
Would you have won the however not election with 11,454?
No, my Lord, with this, but there are other results that did not come through, and that's my
For us, we are
complaint.
talking about the 16,640. That is your complaint. You have other votes that were not counted. We're talking about 16,640. I will come in
My
to the
Lord,
other paragraph.
those were the total number of votes that were not returned.
So, Hajat, to take you to what we are talking about, the voter turnout was 14.4.
Lawyer Samuel Mwiz refuted Nambi's allegations that the elections were marred with chaos and violence.
The trial in the election petition filed by Nambi Faridah has commenced today. And the principal, who is the petitioner, first of all, has failed to prove that he had agents on all the polling stations she is complaining about. She has failed to prove that she obtained any results from the said polling stations. She has also stated that her participation on that day in this election was she went to the polling station, voted, and went back home. And to us, that is hearsay. She did not see any chaos, any violence, as stated. Who then would qualify that evidence, if at all? That would be witnesses. The said witnesses are faceless. The agents is referring to provided evidence without the required national IDs. We have a petitioner where one of those who had provided such evidence stated in evidence for the first respondent, the Honorable Nalukola, that he never appeared before any commissioner, he never appeared before any lawyer for Nambi. He does not even know where the offices of those lawyers who drafted that evidence are. That behoves that with these faceless witnesses that Nambi is relying on, would they be credible? These are ghost witnesses. We have gotten a challenge that these faceless witnesses are the ones on record. We apply to court to have these faceless witnesses come to testify, even on that alone, to ascertain whether they actually existent or not. The court denied us the opportunity. Out of the 30, we're given an opportunity of only 10. And some of these are not those that are faceless. The court chose for the first respondent, which witnesses to be cross-examined. That is unusual. And that is one area that we are sticking on to tell court that, look here, without the faceless witnesses.
The respondent's legal team also dismissed some of the allegations in Nambi's affidavit that they were just hearsay.
The petitioner is relying on the first respondent, the Honorable Nalukola, having gone to polling stations and told people I am Nalukola as one of the electoral offenses that should overturn the entire election. Because on electoral offenses and illegalities, just one element can overturn the will of the people. So we believe saying that I am Nalukola cannot be such an offense. That behoves of what we stated. It's a frivolous petition. It is so simplistic, it's so vexatious that you cannot rely on someone having said I'm Nalukola at a polling station for you to overturn an election. I think let's not simplify election matters for whatever reason. That people come up to vote, some even are still in hospital, and you want by Nalukola having stated that I'm Nalukola, that should be an element to nullify an election. The question was put to her, and she confirmed that even her and her husband mentioned their names at the polling station, just as it would be ordinarily. So these are trivialities. We say the petition is trivial. It is frivolous. It cannot be sustained if we are to go by fairness and justice in this petition. And that justice, not for Nambi or Honorable Nalukola, but for the people of Kawempe, who have not had an MP for these 5 years. The Honorable Segirinya never represented the people, but now Nalukola, instead of being in parliament, they are now on trivialities, keeping him here in court. We believe it's unfair, and the court should, against that background, not overturn the will of the people of Kawempe.
The respondents also questioned why Nambi did not consult the Electoral Commission about the biometric verification machines, which could have supported her claims of missing results.
Coming to be put to test. And now that Nambi has distanced herself that from me I don't know anything, I just voted and went home, then where is the evidence that can sustain such a petition so as to overturn the decision of the majority people in Kawempe? We believe so far, so good. The numbers, the election is about numbers. The numbers don't add up. She had the calculator, and in her own calculation, she has confirmed to court that even when all registered voters at 14 polling stations vote for her, in the percentages of those that who turned up, because we know the voter turn-up was 14%. So if that 14% of the voters who turned up all voted for her, whereby none of them probably is sick, none of them is out of the country, where no spoiled votes, that percentage of the voter turnout would not return her still. as the winner of this election, and I think we are on track.
Could you please talk about the illegalities we are trying to emphasize in court?
Kaula Muhammad, Faridah Nambi's lead lawyer, responded to some of the questions asked to his client.
This morning we have started to hear the evidence of the petitioner with regards to the election petition that she filed as a result of the Kawempe North by-election, the result of the Kawempe North by-election. We have started with the petitioner herself, and for the better part of the morning, Nalukola's lawyers have been asking her questions about her evidence. We are comforted from the nature of the questions asked that our client is still firm. What they have done and spent a lot of time about is conjecture, is supposition, is probability, is trajectory, is fanciful theories, is guesswork. Elections are not determined on guesswork. Election results are not determined on conjecture, but by definite result. Our complaint is there is no definite result from the 14 polling stations that we complained about. We don't know that result. Nalukola doesn't know that result, and he says so in his defense. The Electoral Commission does not have that result. We do not, all three of us, have certainty as to the result of the election. So questions about who would have won, who should have lost, who would have voted for you, who would not have voted for you is pure conjecture. And we are comforted that we are still doing a very good deal of great work. Now, the law does not require us to prove that Nalukola would have lost. The law does not require us to prove that Faridah should have won. No. The law only requires us to put the result of the election in doubt. And we are saying the 16,000 voters whose electoral choice we do not know are huge enough as to put the result of the election in doubt. That is all that the law asks us to do, because we all don't know who voted who, okay, because we don't have those results. But once we are able to prove that the margin is 8,000, those whose electoral choice we don't know are 16,000. We don't know who they voted for. The election is put in doubt. In fact, for us as lawyers for Faridah, we are happy that Nalukola's lawyers have gone around creating trajectories, probabilities, fanciful theories, guesswork. All that points to one thing, that the result of the election is in doubt. Exactly what we are telling the court. So their line of questioning is helping our case, because they are telling the court there is doubt as to who would have won. There is doubt as to who would have garnered so many votes in which polling station. That alone proves that the result of the election is in doubt. And that's all that the law requires us to prove. So we're doing well.
Court will resume tomorrow for further hearing.